I have wanted to make a holiday themed glue book for years. I've been gathering all this material, holding on to old Christmas cards and postcards and just scraps of wrapping paper, and finally I started putting together a bunch of collages on pages, and in today's video I'm going to show you how I bind it and put a cover on it. So this glue book has literally been years in the making. It's just a ton of holiday related items, paper items that I've collaged with that I want to turn into a book. So what am I using for pages? I'm using something that I already have, which are dividers. I have a bunch of these dividers. They're separate files, I guess, and they're a very sturdy cardstock. They are really great for collaging. The only thing is that I'm not folding them in half and using them like folios. I need to actually bind them together as separate pieces. The method for binding that I've chosen is called tab binding. I've seen lots of YouTube videos about it. I will put a link in the description box with an example of how I learned how to do it, and then of course show you in today's video as well. The most common way to create tab binding is with fabric, and so I have a couple of things to share with you. The first thing I tried was this Tim Holtz linen tape. I experimented with just a small piece on some paper and actually a piece of wax paper, and it holds extraordinarily well. The only thing is that I didn't know if I was going to have enough, so I had a second idea. And my second idea was to actually use fabric scraps. What I'm going to do with these is I'm going to cut them down into pieces that I'm going to use to glue onto my pages to hold them together. All right, so here are my collaged pages. I have about 15 pages, and the size of these are 8 inches across by 5 inches wide. And I did collage on both sides. Originally, I had planned to do it this way with the pages going this way, but I found that I had a lot of letters and postcards that needed to be displayed in a landscape way. So I decided that I was going to do the whole thing in landscape. So it will go like this. Sometimes I did this where I did a piece of washi tape on the edge so that I could open it up and read my old messages. Also, I did cards that can flip up and open, sometimes even more than one. Okay, sometimes I had just old postcards that I had purchased before, and I mixed them in with additional little pieces. These little pieces, this and this, these are little die cut pieces done by Cathe Holden. I will put the link in the description box if you're interested in these. They're so helpful for, wanting to finish off a collage and, not having the right piece. Just having something small really helped with, putting this together. Here's another envelope. I left this open in case I wanted to see what was inside. Here's another postcard. Another postcard. This is just from a magazine, a pretty picture. And this is a Christmas card that's just cut out next to it. Here's another envelope, another postcard cut down. Okay, so you get the idea. So I was going to originally record showing how I did all of this collage, but it took me a series of weeks to get through this, and it was just so much. And I thought, no, 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 let's just go straight to the binding and the covers. Some of these have holes I left so I could put some ribbon in there if I wanted to. I wasn't quite sure how it was going to go with the binding, so we'll see. This card I want to put on after I put down the binding so it's still loose. And this is the end. So it's a nice stack of cards. And what do I want to do for the cover? I have to figure out the cover before I start gluing on these pieces. So what I'm going to do for the cover is take more of these files, and I will glue 2 of them together to make them even a little bit more sturdy, and then I will just do front and back. And how I'll decorate them is that I have a whole bunch of wrapping paper. So I'm just going to wrap the cover in one design, because I honestly don't know yet how I want to make the cover. And I don't want not knowing to hold me back from continuing on the project. Sometimes if you don't know the answer, it stops you in your place and you're like, well, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, so I'd better just stop here. I want this done. I want this assembled. So I am going to leave the covers for later, and I will just do the bare minimum so that I can make myself progress beyond the point where I'm stuck. So I will move this out of the way. I have some Yes paste, and I have an old gift card I'm going to use. What I'm going to do is just glue these pieces together. With Yes paste, a little goes a long way. You don't need to make it very thick. So you just put a little bit on your card and then spread it all over your page. It's okay if it gets a little bit messy because I'm going to cover over this with another paper, so that's okay. Just want to line them up as close as I can. So I have this wrapping paper. It's very pretty and it's already very busy. So honestly, if I didn't want to do anything else to the cover, I could just use this and it would be fine. So I'm going to start with this and see if I want to add anything else. Okay, here are what my covers look like. I have covered these pages with my paper. I have a little bit of space here. I can choose to put some kind of pattern paper. It doesn't really matter as far as making that decision right now. I don't know what I'm going to do, so I will just leave it like that. All right, I am ready to start with my tabs. So I have some little pieces cut out. These are 1-inch pieces. I don't know how many tabs you need for 15, 17 pages with the cover. So I just cut out a whole bunch, and they are 1 inch. And how do you decide what size you need? It depends on how wide you want the binding. There will be 5 pieces that will go across the whole spine. So let me just show you what the spacing will look like. So it's going to be, I'll start with 3 on one page, like this. And then on the second page, there will be 2. So it will always go kind of in a weave. And this one will go on the back of this. I'll show you in a second. But anyway, figuring out the width of your pieces, it's entirely up to you. I just knew that I wanted 5 pieces and that I essentially wanted them to end somewhere over here. I did create this little template where I took a piece of paper, the length of the cover and the pages, And I know exactly where the halfway point is so that I know when I'm placing my pieces down where to place them. And then how much space to leave between so that I can add the other one. Okay. So I knew that I wanted spacing. I wanted my pieces to end here so that when I look at the spine, there's only a little bit that's not covered with these tabs. My glue choices, I have this art glitter glue. It does not contain glitter in it. It's just called that because people use it for adding glitter to their papers. And then there's also this Aleene's tacky glue. And I like this Aleene's because it's good for fabrics as well. This art glitter is also very good for fabric, and it's got this really, you know, the applicator goes all the way to the edge. So I'm gonna start using that one and see how it goes. Now that I have these 3 glued on, I will flip them over. And here is where I will add the next tabs. So I said I was going to do these neutral ones. So they are going to go like this. Okay, now I will flip these over. And these first 3 tabs I will glue down. Okay. Now I will continue with more tabs. Okay, so this is how it's going, just like this. All right, I'm just getting to the end of my pages, and I want to show you what happens when you reach the end and what to do with your tabs. So I glued these on. These are my next ones coming. That's gonna go here. I'm ready to put on my last page, but when I glue down these last tabs, these ones are going to be sticking out. So what do you do with them? I'm gonna glue 1 tab to this last page and then glue the rest to the cover. I do want 1 tab to be attached to this. Okay. Now the rest will go into the cover. Here's what the spine looks like. And here is the cover. You know what's interesting about this book is that actually you can flip it either way. This can be the front and go this way. This is how I originally intended it to go. Or you can go like this and start this way. These tabs turned out really well. I'm super happy with them. I think that this is a really great system for binding pages that are side by side. Got this down here. There we go. Overall, I would say I'm really happy with this binding. Super, super happy. It's so versatile. I could use whatever kind of scrap fabrics I have. All I need to do is just cut them down into the size that I need. I can just use glue to put it on. I don't need to sew anything. I don't need to handle any signatures. I love it. This is really awesome. This is the first of many journals and glue books that I will make with this tabbed binding. Now, if I want, I can go through again and see if there are any additional things that I want to add. I still have a box here full of things that I could continue to just keep on layering on top of these pages. So I hope you got some ideas for creating your own holiday theme glue book. If you need some more ideas or some examples of no sew binding and no stitch binding for putting pages together, here is a video that you can watch to help you come up with some ideas.